Karine Mathieu-Gasque from the CNES in Toulouse will present some optical instruments that are used in space projects carried by the CNES, the French Space Agency. She joined the CNES in 2004 in the optics department, and she's an engineer specialized in thin films and mirror designs and also in parasitic lights. Karine has a strong experience in high-resolution space imaging projects for the Earth observation.
This presentation will cover all space applications, so it concerns spectrometers, radiometers, and imagers. I will talk about case parameters first, then 3 examples among all the programs in development will be present. And finally, I will say a few words about RET program, which is an important activity at CNES after the project. Here is a list of case parameters that drive the main lines of the design. We will illustrate each of them in the next few slides. No formulas, no panic, but just a picture. The first concerns geometry with the concept of spatial resolution. It's always decisive for the mission linked to the altitude of the orbit. In particular, for imagery application, the coupled GSD and MTS, modulation transfer, will directly determine the size of the instrument. The aperture of the optics follows directly. Field of view. Field of view is the second design driver requirement and will precise the size of the area where the performance will be okay. For example, if I want to analyze the entire surface of the Earth or just a small part of the universe, for this different. Radiometric requirements. First, we find light geometrical radiometric resolution with SNR. Here, there is also connection with pupil diameter, which will limit the quantity of photons. The other important point concerns absolute and relative radiometric accuracy, especially for radiometers, which are very demanding. The last point is spectral requirements, and more than that, spectral resolution. It's obvious. After presenting requirements, I will illustrate each of them on next slide. Photos speaks for themselves. On the left, the 8 photos illustrate the effect of different image sampling, DSD. The final DSD results from optical cutoff and sensor cutoff. For imagery application, we are looking obviously for the smallest DSD. Actually, as observatory civil satellites have a GSD between 50 and 70 centimeters. The GSD taken alone is not sufficient because you have to take into account the accessible contrast. This is characterized by the MTF in frequency spatial field. As well as seen for GSD, optics and detector bring their contribution. Opticality is decisive, so a good manufacturing is essential to ensure quality of the image and GSD as seen before. I will now turn to the field of view. The field of view accessible from space can be very large. According to the need, a compromise has to be found between field of view and resolution. You can't have both for the same price. For observing climate change, for example, the scale of phenomena on the Earth is not the same that as the details you want for precise imagery. So the size of the total area are very different. You have to fix probe at the good value. Next slide. Two important other quantities. SNR, signal-to-noise, describes the measurement dynamic with the ratio of the useful signal and the noise due to the instrument measurement channel. We can see the noise introducing small grain on the image. With this SNR performance, we aim to make them negligible. On the right, radiometric accuracy. It can be very important when an absolute characterization is researched for chemical elements, for example, like on this picture. It's a determining parameter. Finally, next slide, this geometrical figure represents links between these K parameters and optical instrument classes. We find the images where spatial angular resolution is the major design driver at the top of the triangle. Logically, when spectral resolution is essential, we have to do with a spectrometer. In contrast, at the opposite, are radiometers with strict requirements for radiometric resolution. Now, let me talk about our project. I just will focus on two areas, science and observation. I will therefore present three CNES projects recently developed and now operated by CNES team. First, observation. We developed a generation of satellites that guarantee continuity of service. Every day you use image from Spot5 or Pléiades in Google Earth. We can just remember Pléiades, which is the famous one actually operating in the middle top of the slide. Next slide presents a 3D view of the payload here. The optical design is a classic curved telescope. You can identify on the image a primary mirror in green here. Its diameter is about 65 centimeters. Secondary mirror on the right and the other mirror on in the back cavity, fourth mirror, third mirror, and focal plane here. I don't know if you can see at the top. Native image is black and white, but there are also color channels. After applying image processing, we colorize the image. The field of view is about 21 kilometers at a GSD of 0.5 meter. You can imagine that each shot generates big data. This is an image from Pléiades. The final resolution we get at an altitude of 700 kilometers is really good. This view of Notre-Dame de Paris is really well resolved with the burnt roof. The applications are very numerous, and the satellites are very often activated in the event of natural disaster. Now another example with spectrometer. YASI is a Fourier transform spectrometer on board of METOP satellites. Again, you use its results every day when you are interested in the weather forecast. This instrument gives a lot of data to the meteorologists, and its concept designed by CNES significantly improves weather forecast. The principle is atmospheric sounding by measurement of the atmosphere spectrum to deduce temperature and humidity profile. Main features are summarized. You can see that field is larger than Pléiades, which plus minus 47 degrees. And each pixel represents 12 kilometers. On this slide, a view of the interferometer on the left. I won't go into detail, but the design is composed of scanning mirror, beam splitter, corner cube, aligned with very high precision and stability, very important. On the right, the spectrum, the first spectrum of IASI. We can identify signature of well-known chemical elements like carbon dioxide, ozone, methane. The amplitude of each spectrum line gives us information on the concentration of gases in the atmosphere. Therefore, this instrument needs very precise calibration on ground, but also in flight. Now, science. There are many scientific missions. I will just focus on the project that concerns my work directly. You can see it posted in 2020. It's SuperCam, the new generation of LEPS instrument for Mars exploration. After ChemCam on Curiosity, I'm sure you already seen it. You can see on the picture Perseverance, the Curiosity's brother. The rover is the same model, but the instruments are different or upgraded. This is the case for the French instrument. Posted at the head, after ChemCam, we developed SuperCam. The principle is also LEPS analysis. What is LEPS? A laser focused on the rock and induced a plasma. This light generated by the plasma is analyzed by a spectrometer inside the rover's body unit. The entire instrument is contained in a box no larger than a shoebox. Photoshop the flight model during integration phase. Hello. The design difficulties were to perform the emission and collection optical function with the same telescope, with strong environmental and volume constraints. Optical design of the two functions are illustrated here. Left, the laser emission with LEPS. The right one, LEPS, is focused on the rock. Raman laser in green, not focused but collimated. And on the right, we collect the light. Blue one. On the light, we collect so primary mirror, secondary mirror, and for the lenses, then the light is separated for imaging and spectrometry. The two pictures below show the surface of the rock before and after LEPS. You can see 5 holes on the rock. Finally, an example of the spectrum built by the instrument below here, which all chemical elements identified. And now we are waiting for the launch of SuperCam. The launch is planned in July 2020 for a landing on Mars in February 2021. Now we come to the last part of my presentation. I really want to talk about the Heritage program because it is, after project, an important activity for CNES. This is a way to develop technologies for the future, to test innovative concepts and assess the feasibility of complex components. this program is carried out in partnerships with various institutional research organizations, NRF, university, etc., and industry. Just a slide to focus on the on some activities. In optics, we have a lot of works on mirrors technology, especially lightweight design and large size up to 1.5 meter diameter, but also freeform, fast polishing, etc. Always for large optics, we develop activities like deformable mirrors, waveform sensor, mechanisms compatible with spatial environment. Another area that interests us is still film coating, because we have very specific needs and very robust technology required. We have a lot of work with institutional on this subject. And these pictures give some examples, but are not exhaustive. So I finished my presentation. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Karine. So if you have some questions, don't hesitate to write it down in the chat. So there is one question from Jean-François. What is the resolution of the image of Notre-Dame de Paris? So I think it was on slide 11.
Yes, it's a Pléiades image, so I guess it's something close to a metric resolution. My question is more like, I guess the 0.7 meter resolution announced for Pléiades is a really measured resolution, or is it a theoretical optics resolution? Can you comment a bit on that aspect?
Yes, it's a measured resolution.
Okay.
But native resolution, because with algorithms processing, we have a little less.
You have a better resolution thanks to post-processing, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Because Pléiades is a civil and military satellite.
Hi, this is Imran. I have a question on that pyramid-like figure in which, can you go to the slide where you showed a kind of pyramid, a triangle, in which some properties were...
But what? I don't...
So there was a figure in your presentation in which you talked about some kind of link between the three properties in a triangle shape.
Yes. I come back. Yes.
Yeah, so this imaging spectroradiometers, and then these three properties, which were spectral resolution, spatial resolution, and then the radiometric resolution. So, I mean, what was the purpose of this figure? Like to define the kind of trade-off between these three parameters?
Yes, exactly. To propose a classification of instruments.
Okay.
Just to propose a classification, but it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to put instruments because they are in the middle of all the parameters. It's a proposition.
Okay.
Thanks. So there's also another question in the chat. So it's still about the resolution and how to make images. The question is with respect to the first example, the imager. So does the system is able to zoom physically with moving lenses, or it's only a digital zoom?
On imagers, there is no zoom, no physical zoom, but just a little zoom to adapt to defocalization, because during life of the satellite, some elements have some modification. So we have to resume, but just to adapt the focalization, but not to do a zoom.
Okay. And then there's a last question, still about satellite images. So it's more about how they fly and if they are allowed to fly over any countries, or if there are some rules about where they are allowed to do images or not.
No,
I don't know.
There is no law. There is no law. we can do what we want. It's the great advantage of satellite.
Okay, so and there's one last question. We still have a minute. So, what is the focal length of a satellite? Approximate focal length.
The focal length for Pléiades, it's about 19 meters.
19 meters. Okay.
19 meters for Pléiades.
Okay, thanks. So I propose to move on. If there are some more questions, you can still write them down in the chat. And
I want to ask just one question, Mara. Sorry, I would like to ask about these atmospheric effects when we are doing this kind of optical geomapping. How do we take into account the kind of atmospheric effects the optical fields can go through, and how do they affect the resolution? So are there some kind of onboard adaptive optic systems that do some corrections?
No, the atmospheric effects are negligible because we are very far from the atmosphere. When you are very close to the atmosphere, the effects are very important. But it's not the case for satellites. They are very far from the atmosphere, so there are very negligible effects on image and resolution.